Hello, my darlings. Wow, wow, so beautiful, darlings. Guys, this is Amish Patel, CEO of the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. Lots to talk about today. Lots of very serious stuff to talk about. This comedy business, very serious. We just got to get into it, okay? There's a lot of laughs to bring to market, and there's a lot of laughter business news to bring to market. Okay, so today, here's a couple of things we're going to talk about. So yeah, I got into the Writers Guild. Look, no big deal. But I am now a member of the Writers Guild. I'm a member of the Writers Guild, I'll have you know. And that's it. That's where it's at. So if you ever feel like I put a video out and it's not that funny, or it's like you don't like it, if you ever see any of my writing and you don't like it, quick question, are you in the Writers Guild? Oh. This Raptor win, very excited about it. But Fred Vanvleet, let's see him in a better commercial. So we're going to talk about that. Look, I can give you guys some information about the advertising industry, and I'll say this Osmosis ad, or whatever the hell it is, this like falafel place ad, it's not paying like this, okay? It's not paying like this ad. And did these guys how come these guys get to be on an Amazon commercial? Paid a lot of money, okay? And then this Fred Vanvleet's doing the Osmosis. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then we got to talk about this play that I just did, the Win at Life Mega Expo. I just did the Ottawa and Montreal Fringe Festivals with that play. Had an incredible time with my playmates Faisal and Morgan. Had an incredible time. Shot some fun videos.
2 more no's. Put it on the board. What are you trying to break a record?
Where we got out on the street and we really got in touch with the people of those cities.
Wow. That's a no for every wheel. 9 no's.
Just want to buy 6 more tickets? Yeah, I got you.
Now that's a real marketer.
Oh,
you gotta focus, man. You gotta focus.
Some good practice for like doing videos in the future. Very excited about that. And we'll be doing videos like that for the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. So that's something that you guys can look forward to too. And then the last thing I want to talk about is these guys from Vancouver, the Serfs. Great channel. Shout out to the Serfs. Basically, a couple of lefties over there in Vancouver, and they just did another diss video on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, dude. These two just did a diss on my boy Joe Rogan, and I don't like it. I mean, no, look, I watched the video. I'm going to give my thoughts on that. Because the truth is, it's one of those tough things. You know when someone you like disses someone else that you like, and now you're in the middle. You don't know what to do. I'm kind of in that spot. Right now. Serfs, great channel, dude. Canadian, great guys. Okay? They're the kind of guys that put out a video, and I'm like, can we just take it easy with these? And then I watch the video, and I'm like, okay, fine, you're right. Super social justice. Social justice, but doing their research. Like, they're not wrong, though, you know, and that's what we'll talk about with that, because there's a very interesting, like, almost like a swing back coming back from these lefties. Because so far, the right-wing players on the internet have been dominating the internet. They've been putting out their content, killing it. They got Trump elected. I've talked about that already. But the lefties are making a comeback, and a big part of that lefty comeback is the Serfs. I gotta say, man, they're coming up hot in the game, in the left-wing YouTube game, the social justice game. They're coming up hot in the game. And the way they're doing it is with these kind of Joe Rogan diss videos. They're dissing guys like Joe Rogan, Bill Maher. It's new territory. It's bold. They're getting in there. You know? And I think they're animators, too. And one of them is brown. And quite frankly, I like that. I don't know what it is. There's just something. It's like even if you go to a place, even if I go to a gas station, if they're speaking in Gujarati, I'll be like, come to, hey, brother. I'll say something. I'm not just gonna. I'll ask them if they're from Gujarat, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, where are you from in Gujarat? And then maybe I'll get into a little chit chat about that. I can make friends with Gujaratis, generally speaking. Although I did recently go to this Indian store. Not recently, but I remember like last year I went to this Indian store, and what did he do? He was he put up a new sign or something. He's like this health food guy near my house, and he put up this sign, and I was like, oh cool, man, that must be bringing in people. And he just goes, it's 285. 285. Like he just, you know, like I'm trying to start a conversation with this guy and he just cut me. He just like was like, nah, dude, just pay your shit, get out of my store. It was like he had, like he's always like that with me. And I don't know what to do about it. Two brown brothers in the community together, you know, in this social justice time, come on, it's a time to come together, brother. But this guy just straight, he did not want to talk to me though. He did not want to talk to me. But generally speaking, if I hear the gas station guy doing a little Gujarati, I'll jump in with a little bit of my own Gujarati, and then we'll get into it. And then we'll talk about where we're from in Gujarat, and then I'll be like, yo, but bro, you getting up in that pussy? I'll always ask him that. I always get to it's always like two guys from India, and they're just like, I mean, honestly, they're still kind of like just work people. You know what I mean? Like they're a little bit, they're coming from India, they're here to work. They're not going out to hook up with people. They're not going out. I don't know, like I find that they're not like just going out and banging. They're not dating and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's always people like, they're always here and it's like, it's a grind for them. And they're just like, man, I'm just trying to work, you know, so I can pay my bill. Like if I ever ask them like, oh, you partying, you hanging out, you gonna go, you hook up with anyone? They're always just like, who has, like people from India sometimes, like they're so tight, like they're so quick with like moving ahead in life that they're just like, who has time for all this? Like you want to sleep, like they're not even, like if I ask them if they came to Canada, like I remember there's a dude from Iraq. And I asked him, I was like doing a stand-up show somewhere, and he was like very like a bro, like a Joe Rogan fan, like me, Joe Rogan, but also lefty like me too, but big Joe Rogan fan type of guy, and he just came from Iraq like 6 months ago, and he's like telling me how he's, I was like, oh yo, dude, you dating anyone? You getting laid, right? And he's just like, bro, yeah, man, oh my god, he went crazy, dude. He got so excited when I asked him if he's getting laid. He just, yeah, man, oh my god, dude, right away, I get it, man. Like he was hard. I don't know what kind of accent I'm giving him. I don't know what kind of accent that is, but he, dude, I remember this Iraqi guy. He just came and he was just like, dude, right away someone started banging me. He was like that. He was like, God bless this country. Not 2 weeks in this country and someone's banging me, dude. And I didn't really get into it with like whether or not he got laid in Iraq, because Iraq might be different than India. India's I don't know, man. I remember my cousin would get laid and people would come to murder him. Like the girl's family would come to murder my cousin because he would sleep with someone. But he was the only one, man. Nobody else was really doing it like that when I was there. But I see what they're saying. It's a waste of time, honestly, dude. You know, and that's what I want to get into, bro-motivational speakers. I want to talk to you guys about bro-motivational speakers today, because speaking about getting laid and stuff like that, one of the things that I just did was this fringe play called the Win LA Mega Expo, and the play is about these motivational speakers. And what I found while watching these motivational speakers is that there's a sub-community of motivation called bro-motivational speakers, and that's motivation for the bros. And Joe Rogan is not part of that. He's not officially a self-help guy, although he does have this like fitness company and stuff like that, and he sells like pills and like exercise equipment. But he's a bro, like he's on another level. Like he's professional. I'm talking about motivational speakers. Like I'm talking about, okay, bro-motivational speaker is a dude who goes on the internet and he gives bros motivation, because bros in this economy need motivation, dude. They need a bro-motivation. If you're a bro in this economy, dude, you don't just need a motivation, you need a bro-motivation. And there's a whole sub-genre of YouTube that's those dudes. And they're bro-motivators, and some of them, I'd say like half of them are pickup artists, straight up how to get laid kind of guys, right? And look, you start watching one. Here's the thing with watching one of these pickup artist guys, is that once you watch one, YouTube is like, we got a loser. Send him all of them. We got a loser here. That's what YouTube does. You know, and here's the thing. Earlier I mentioned that I'm now a member of the Writers Guild. And the reason I had to join the Writers Guild, if you must know, is I got a development deal. Can't say with who, can't say with what, can't talk about it. Okay? Just went through some contracts the other day, and it's a strict don't talk about the details did. All I can say is, got a development deal, had to join the Writers Guild. So, again, if there's anyone watching this and you think it's not funny, quick question, you in the Writers Guild? Are you in the Writers Guild, or am I in the I'm in the Writers Guild. So, I think I'm doing all right. And this is just my off-the-cuff stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you come to a stand-up comedy show, that's where the bangers are at. And you know what? That's where we should do our intro to the show. That was a long, rambling intro, but I think pretty entertaining. But let me just do a quick plug for myself, and then we'll get back into talking about Bro-motivational speakers. How does that sound, my darlings? Is that cool, darlings? That's how a Bro-motivational speaker would do it. A Bro-motivational speaker would be like, hey, man, right now, before I deliver this value of giving you this life tip, real quick, I'm going to just ask you to do me a favor, do me a solid, bro, and hit that subscribe button, dude. Hit that subscribe button because I want to be able to keep delivering value to you, bro. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button, dude, because I'm always coming up with new innovations on how to get laid, and I want to make sure my bros know about it, and so I can keep on giving my bros motivation because I'm a Bro-motivational speaker. Okay? So smash that like, smash that bell button, bruh. Anyway, I have to do that for myself. Okay, go to laughserup.com. Look, my name is Amish Patel, CEO of the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation, now a member of the Writers Guild. So again, make sure you go to laughserup.com if you want to keep seeing me do work like this. If you want to see me live, where I put the A material, because quite frankly, this is off the cuff. This is a very loosey-goosey podcast that I'm going to do for you guys because I want to deliver value to you guys. Wow, I really do sound like those Bro-motivationals. Anyway, if you go to laughserup.com, join the mailing list, and then you will be notified when there are new videos coming up like this, new content, podcast videos, all this online content. You'll be notified about that. You'll be notified about the live shows because we got a couple of coming up. July 18th, we got a show coming up in Mississauga. It's going to be a banger. My shows always are. And then there's another show coming up in August with Asterios, who, by the way, our patron, Greg, hooked me up with Asterios. Greg, patron, not only is he an investor in the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation, loves the work, okay? Loves the work, decided to invest. That's great. You guys can be investors too. The point is, he decided to not only invest his money, but he hooked me up with this other dude, Asterios, and you'll be seeing a podcast with Asterios and I very shortly after this one comes out. Okay? God is great. So yeah, if you go to laughserup.com, you'll know when there's content coming out. You'll know when there's live shows coming up. Like I said, July 18th, and then late in August, I got a show coming up with Asterios as well. And you will also be notified about all the incredible investment opportunities that are available at patreon.com/laughserup. Okay? As an aspiring CEO, you know, I'm realizing more and more, especially now that I did these two fringe festivals, I'm realizing more and more what my purpose is here on the earth, people. And it's to make sure that laughs are up in the culture, in the community, okay? Because when laughs are up, outrage is down, profits are through the roof, okay? And that's it. And I'm talking about profit for humanity. I'm not talking about money profit. Look, that too. Start giving me money, like Greg. But I'm talking about we want the profits. We want humanity to be prosperous. And the way that happens is we want more laughs in the community. We want outrage to be down. We want all this war and fighting to be down. And then look, as a culture, profits are going to be through the roof, you know? And that's a big part of what I got to do here as the CEO of this comedy corporation. A big part of what I learned while doing this play, the Win at Life Mega Expo, my fringe play that I just finished, a big thing that I learned, a big thing that I had to learn about myself too, is that life is hard, you know? And it's kind of extra hard if you do something like what I'm doing. See, people think, and I kind of thought this too, I kind of thought like, oh, I'll be a comedian, that's easier, you know? Because people say things like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Okay, what they should say is, do what you love and you have to work 5 times harder. That's the truth. Okay? What you guys are doing is easy because it's just laid out. Even if you're a doctor, it's like, okay, cool, you're a doctor. You did 8 years of school, fine. I'm not saying it's not hard, but you know at the end of the 8 years, you're getting paid, baby. You don't have to worry about that. Take that level of work for a comedian, but no guarantee at the end. But that's how much work you got to put in. You got to put in really a doctor, lawyer level of work, you know? That's what it takes, I think. And then there's no guarantees on becoming famous, but look, the numbers on this podcast are pretty decent. We already have an investor, okay? The audio numbers are pretty decent. I don't know where these numbers are coming from, but they're growing. Like, people are listening to it. I mean, it's still small enough that you guys can holler at me. You know what I'm saying? If you guys you guys should send me more messages. I mean, I get messages, and I'm responding to them, like, through the thing, because nobody wants to, like, I'm getting messages that are like emails that are like, oh, don't tell anyone, but like one guy sent me a message because earlier in the podcast, in an earlier episode, I was talking about one of my, you know, you could call it one of my life concepts, one of my life philosophies of life is that there's a market of 10s who love 6s, okay? And that's just it, man. That's just something that I realized a long time, not so long ago. I realized this maybe 6 or 7 years ago, that there is a market of 10s who love 6s. I realized this years ago. And ever since then, whenever a guy's having a hard time, you know, when they're feeling like, man, am I ever going to meet somebody? I just can't seem to imagine when there's going to be love in my life. I don't know why I made that person like Southern character. But the point is that sometimes people feel like that. And you know what I tell them? I say, hang in there, brother. There's a market of 10s who love 6s. There's a market of 10s who love 6s. Whenever a guy says something like, who could love me, man? Not even a guy, even if you're a girl and you say that. There's a lot of discouraged people out here in the culture, in the community, people. Discouraged from love. Isn't that sad? That's so sad, man. There's some people who have just given up on love. Can you imagine? Especially like once they have a kid. There's a lot of people that just gave up on love. That just said, you know what? I'm out. I can't do it anymore. There's a lot of people like that, man. There's a lot of people like that. And sometimes people just come out and say it. You know, like I know some people that are like, you know what? I just don't think I can emotionally take it right now to get into another relationship. So I'm just going to take some time off. And, you know, I've kind of decided that maybe that's not for me. I know too many people like that. How sad, man. It's the internet. Like, we can go and meet anyone. You know what I mean? It's a free... You know, it's like I was saying, my cousins in India, one guy would get laid, and then they would come to murder him. And we're sitting here in Canada, and we're too heartbroken to go say what's up. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who are in Canada. I mean, there's incels. For fuck's sakes, man. Incels? You're in Canada. You're in Canada. You have the freedom to go meet people, you know, to go do something. What a waste. What a waste. But people are heartbroken. That happens though too, man. Some people are so sad that they're like, I'm out. I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game. Some people are like out, like, okay, I'm just going to be out of the game for a year or two. I need some time, and like, it's a lot to deal with. But then I know some people that have hit a point where they're like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore, man. Emotionally, the ups and downs, went on a couple of dates. You know what really kills me though, dude? You know what really kills me is when someone, this happens with actors too. Like I know some actors that'll talk to me too much about an audition. You know what I mean? Because if you go to an audition, if you're a professional, you do the audition and then you leave. And you forget that you ever even went. Why? Because otherwise you go crazy. That's why. Some people, that's true for going to auditions, but that's true for dating too, man. You gotta date like salespeople date, where they're like, look, you're in, you're not in. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. There's too many people that are like, they're bringing up someone who ghosted them 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Or a month ago even. It's like, dude, you went on two dates and then you got ghosted. No, that person's not into you. You got to let that go, baby. You can't call that ghost. I didn't even know. The first time someone told me what ghosting is, I was like, oh, that's just what people do in the city, baby. That's what I said. I was like, that's just big city life. Sorry, I know it's rude. I know it's rude. I know it's rude. You know, it was like a small town kind of person that I knew. And they came to Toronto and they were like, man, they told me what ghosting is. And when they told me, I was like, ghosting? No, that's just what we do here. There's not a word. There's a word for that? That's kind of what I thought. That's kind of what I felt when they told me. But I also felt kind of like, you know, when I'm talking to that actor who's like, hey, did you hear back about the Honda commercial? I'm like, dude, you're not going to make it. I don't even remember going to a Honda commercial, but I probably did last week. I probably went to a Honda commercial audition yesterday. You know what? Forgot it. That's how to live life. I'm telling you, man, life tip. What's my time code right now? 21 minutes in. I'm gonna cut this out. I might have to put this in Instagram. This is a very important life tip. Okay, you go to an audition. It's an acting masterclass tip, but it's also a life tip. Because here's the thing, very important life tip that I got to give you guys. Yeah, this is an acting masterclass tip, but it's also a life tip. Okay, one of the things I learned early on as an actor is you go to an audition and then just pretend you never went to the audition. You know what I'm saying? You need to just erase the audition. It's like you got to give it everything you got, then you're done the audition, and then what audition? That's what you got to do. Important tip, very important tip. Sometimes I'll talk to an actor and they're like, "Hey man, did you hear back? Did you hear back about the Honda?" And I'm like, "Dude, what? Did I hear back about what? I don't care. No. Why would you ask that?" You know, it's like going up to someone and saying, "Hey, did you get into Just for Laughs this year?" It's like, dude, don't say that. Idiot. But also, it's not even because don't say that. It's also just like, how are you gonna survive in this business? Like if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, did you hear back about that Honda commercial?" My first thought is, how are you gonna survive in this business? You're gonna get an ulcer. You're gonna have a panic attack. You can't think about these auditions. You have to think about them when they're ahead, and you gotta give it everything you got. You gotta love it. You gotta care for it. You gotta make a beautiful little piece of artwork for this auditioner. You gotta make a good piece of art. Especially if it's like a TV show thing, you gotta make it beautiful. You gotta make it good. Listen, not only am I now in the Writers Guild of Canada, I am also a 2018 Emmy nomination applicant. Emmy nomination applicant, if that wasn't clear. But the point is that, look, you gotta work your ass off on the audition. Once the audition's done, what audition? People are like, "Oh, did you hear back about that Honda commercial?" Dude, I probably was in a Honda commercial this morning and I don't remember. I probably went to a Honda commercial, two Honda commercials yesterday. Don't remember them. Don't remember them. That's how you have to live life, baby. That's not only true for acting, man. It's you know, and the reason I got into this is because I was talking about people who are too heartbroken to date. Like, there's people who are like, I can't, I'm out of the game. You know what I'm saying? And it happens with actors, and it happens with dating. I know some actors, the actors who said, "Hey, did you hear back about the commercial? Did you hear back?" Those actors, they're out of the game. They're not acting anymore, is what I'm saying. They're done. That's what I'm saying. Guys, I'm giving you, this is a real life tip I'm giving you guys here. You got to go to the audition, and then you got to pretend that audition never happened. You have to Men in Black yourself. You have to Men in Black yourself. You have to pretend that audition never happened. And look, if someone ghosts you, let's just say you go on a date and someone ghosts you, you got to do the same thing. Didn't happen. That's honestly, that's what you got to do. You know, and I know that's rude that people in Toronto ghost and other people come here and they're like, "Yo, what's this ghosting?" The first time someone said ghosting to me, I was like, you're in the city, baby. You're in the city. I'm not gonna send, nobody's gonna send you a text here to be like, "Oh, sorry, not interested anymore." Like what? You were dating for a month? That's almost like the person who says, "Hey, did you hear back up to the Honda commercial?" That's kind of the dating equivalent of that. You know what that is? Is some people, they've given up on love. Some people have given up on acting, but then there's some people who've given up on dating, right? And then you ask them like, hey, what's up? And they're like, "Man, you know, I'm just I'm just sick of it. I met this girl a couple of times and it was going well and then ghosted, you know? So I'm done with that. I guess it's a Seinfeld guy. It's like the guy in Seinfeld. That's like the guy in Seinfeld. Although in real life, you know what that guy is? That's like a lot of men's rights movement guys. That's a lot of like a Jordan Peterson fans. A lot of that. A lot of red pill dudes. I know a guy. Okay? Heavy in the friend zone for 2 years. Brown dude. So heavy in the friend zone 2 years. Thought he was going to date. Nothing happened. Whatever. This girl just married someone else like this. Gone. Dang. And yeah, because when two brown people want to get married, and if they're in the same background and stuff, if they're in the same like cast and like, I think I said this in another podcast, but you know those Hot Wheels race tracks where there's like the spinny things that just push the car forward, like the car's already going, but then it goes through these two spinny things that just boom, boom, like it just shoots it farther, right? It just takes the Hot Wheels car, bam, it just shoots it harder, right? That's kind of like if two brown people start dating, their families just push them into just, okay, now married, done. Just, okay, 2-3 months, you get the banquet hall, you get this, I got a guy, boom, done, married, done. They just, boom, just like the Hot Wheels thing, they just get you into that marriage, dude. So anyway, we knew this guy. He was like super in love with this girl for like 2 years. You know, like he would always say that they're like, hey, yeah, you know, we're pretty much dating, dude. It's pretty much my girlfriend, dude. It's pretty much my girlfriend, bro. Like he was like that. And then one day and then she would always be like, no, nothing happened. He said that? No, that didn't happen. Like she was like, no, dude, we're just friends. And then one day she meets another dude, also brown, but another dude, but two brown people, like I said, dude, married 6 months, boom, bang, 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 done. Dude, that's what they do. They just get you into the marriage. They push you right into it. Anyway, she gets married. This dude that we knew, he said, you know what? Life, too hard, can't take it. Goes back to his mom's house. And then he sent me, then he started sending me these like men going their own way, red pill videos. Do you guys know what red pill is? Okay, I think the first one he sent me was a video by a guy named Stefan Molyneux from Canada, and he has a video called How Feminism Destroyed Rome. Okay, it's like a 2-hour video. It's like this guy, this weirdo, Stefan Molyneux, he's just some weirdo in his house. He's got like maybe millions of people watching him on YouTube, or maybe like at least 1 million. I don't know, big numbers, okay? Early YouTube guy, but he just makes these videos. A lot of it is about how black people are not as smart, or like maybe just colored people in general, or sorry, people of color in general, whatever, or maybe just black people. But he basically has hours and hours on how like white people are technically better. Like he has hours of that. Hours. Like if some little book or article comes out, he'll take that, he'll do a presentation. Like he thinks he's a professor, Stefan Molyneux. He thinks he's a professor, and he'll just he'll make slides, and he'll just step by step explain it. So anyway, the video one guy sent me, I think this is the one he sent me, but he sent me a video called How Feminism Destroyed Rome, and it's like 2 hours, dude, of this Stefan Molyneux guy just being crazy. Like you're crazy, dude. He just made a presentation in his house. And I remember when my buddy sent it to me, and even I started watching the video, and in my head, I was like, can we just go out one night though? You know, I mean, you got like, he's going really hard, you're going really hard line on women right now. Can you just make an effort one night? Can you just leave the house on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, go downtown and start hollering at these matches? Can you at least do that before you start going into all of this? Because if you go out on a Friday or a Saturday or maybe at a festival and you just go out and you holler at some of these matches, you'll see that they're very sweet and friendly and they'll talk to you, man. And they'll hang out and maybe they'll even date you. Buddy, it's legit. Okay? You can do that. It's fair. Listen, at a club, that's fair. You're allowed to pick up at a club. I don't, like, honestly. Everyone's hooched out. Guys and, like, it's a meat market, half of them. And fine, I'm not saying, and look, man, I'm not saying that you can go up to someone and say something rude to them, because it's also the kind of environment where someone will just punch you in the face there. Like, these clubs, they're like violent. They kind of like being violent, right? And that's, in that way, it's almost its own correction, you could say. Meaning, like, you can go to a nightclub and you can say hi to someone and nobody's really gonna get mad at you for that. And if you keep saying hi to people, man, someone will just like you. You know, it really is like a bit of a numbers game. You just gotta go out, meet people. Or, I mean, maybe you should just go out in a group. Go in a group of friends. Like, you just have to start being social and then make plans and then do those things. And I feel like guys just don't want to do that. It's so sad. Guys hate that shit. Isn't that so sad, though? Like, the way I got into this whole conversation, though, is that there's so many people that are like, you know what? Love? I'm out. Can't do it. Had a hard time with it. Don't think I can take the heartbreak again. I'm out of the game, dude. I know so many guys, and the way guys say it and the way women say it is so different. The way dudes say it is they say it like, man, girls are fucking, I'm finding, man, girls these days are just not interested in that. So you know what? I just said, forget it. Like, I know a bunch of guys who have said that. You know when you're in the danger zone as a dude? Hey, bros, you know when you're in the danger zone as a dude? Is when, okay, this is how you know you're in the danger zone. Is when somebody gets laid, like if a dude gets laid, right? And another dude, and if you're the kind of dude that's like, oh yeah, how? That's not even possible. Like if someone, hey, look, listen, you might be in the danger zone. Listen, you might be in the danger zone. Because here's the danger zone. If someone says they got laid and you're the guy that's like, and you're the dude that's like, that's not even possible, dude. How did you do that? What was the move? What'd you say? Where was it? If you start interrogating, if you start acting like that, like interrogating, where'd you meet him? What's the line you used? What did you say? Oh yeah, you just went up to, and then you went up to them and you went on a date. And then they started to like you. And then they actually had sex with you. Well, you know what? That's not possible. Sorry, don't buy it. Like if you're that guy, you're in the danger zone. It's been too long. You need to go out, man. You're getting weird, dude. You're getting weird. If the thought of getting laid makes you go like, that's impossible. That's impossible. If that's your first thought, scarcity mentality, bruh, you need to get bro-motivated. Bruh, you need to get bro-motivated. You need a bro to motivate you. Anyway, that's why I wanted to get into the Joe Rogan beef. The Joe Rogan Serfs beef. That's what we're going to talk about next. Actually, but I just did want to give a quick shout out because I don't remember if I did this properly. But guys, if you go to laughstrap.com, join the mailing list, you can find out when there's more content coming out, when we have live shows, and also you can find out about all of the incredible investment opportunities, you know? Investment opportunities like the one that Greg has taken advantage of. Okay, Greg is our sole investor currently. He's our sole investor. What level of investor? Can't tell you that. Private information. Okay? But he's investing in the corporation, and part of what he gets for that is he gets a little shout out here. He gets a little shout out. So that much I can say. Also, Greg hooked me up with the stereos. That's great too. Guys, very early in the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation podcast. So if you guys want to holler at me, now's the time. Because maybe in a year I might be too famous. I don't know. Won't have time to get through everyone. But right now, you can holler at me. So you should do that. Anyway. Wow, I sound like a sociopath, eh? Anyway, I wanted to talk about, real quick, this Raptors guy, Fred Vanvleet. First of all, his name's Fred. And he looks so Iraqi, right? Or like just so Middle Eastern. But his name's Fred. Freddy. Is it like that, you think? You think it's like, Fred, my son Fred. But then it's Van Vleet. Is he European maybe? Maybe he's European. The point is, look, his performance in that last game, he did a bunch of three-pointers, that guy. Can we get him off of the shawarma commercial? Honestly. That's enough of that. These two got a Amazon deal. I didn't see them landing those 3-pointers. I didn't see so many 3-pointers from them. I mean, one of these guys did really good. The guy who everyone says looks fat. He does look kind of fat though, doesn't he? This guy looks kind of fat. And then this guy looks like such a this guy looks like a bro-motivational speaker, dude. Dude, he's exactly like a bro-motivational speaker kind of looking guy. He could be a pickup artist. You know what I mean? They look like that. They're like silly like that. A lot of tattoos, and then the hair, something fancy with the hair. Peacocking. He's a peacock, this guy. He's a peacocker. Peacocker. So what, you got this peacocker though, he didn't land that many threes, you know. He didn't land that many threes, so you're just going to give him the Amazon commercial because he peacocked? Come on, guys, let's give it to Fred Vanvleet, okay? He just had a kid, landed so many threes, and now he's on an osmosis commercial like an idiot. Whatever, the shawarma place. Come on, guys, let's get him onto a real commercial. That's a very important public service announcement for the culture, for the community. Glad I did that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is the last thing I want to talk about today because we're at a good 36 minutes. So last thing I want to talk about today, and please tell me if I'm being a little scattered here, okay? Please tell me if I'm being a little scattered here, and if you miss some points, listen, we'll go over it. But I just wanted to say this. Bro-motivational speakers is a big market, okay? Bro-motivational speakers are a big market, and they kind of meld into the Joe Rogan scene because Joe Rogan, in a way, is a top bro-motivational speaker, but that's not his job. That's not what he chooses to do. He's a comedian, he's a podcaster, he's had a great career, incredible career. The kind of career that, quite frankly, gives a bro some motivation, dude. He gives a bro some motivation, which is what breaks my heart when I see these Serfs dudes 2 diss videos on Joe Rogan. 2 disses on the bro motivator, dude. Well, guess what, Serfs? In this economy, the bros need motivating. Okay? And you don't have to attack top bro who's helping us stay bro-motivated. Why do you got to attack him? No, honestly though, here's the thing, okay? The Serfs guys, they're some hard lefties. That's it, that's what it is. Just like Black Goat 666, who I collaborate with in Toronto, just like Mexi, who, I know her, we're in this left-wing YouTube community together, right? I am a part of the left-wing YouTube community. I'm a lefty, but I'm also a bro, and I need to get bro-motivated sometimes, okay? I'm also a bro, and I need to get bro-motivated. And where do I get bro-motivated the best? Joe Rogan. It's actually a very clean form of bro-motivation. Now, here's the thing. Joe Rogan is getting his bro-motivation from Jordan Peterson. That's an issue. I understand that. Look, I get it. I understand PD Pop's pretty sexist. Look, let's call it what it is, okay? Let's just be real about him, this Peter Pops guy. He doesn't, I'm not saying he hates women. He actually loves women, but in a daddy knows best kind of way. He loves women in a I love you if you do what daddy says. But if you're a lesbian, or you're running around and don't have kids, then daddy doesn't love you anymore. It's that kind of love, which is not actually technically love. I mean, look, if you're a right-wing person, you probably think it is, but technically doesn't count as love, okay? You can't have this kind of love in 2019, and that's it. And that's the facts. The facts are technically, in today's climate, by today's standards, Peter Pops is technically sexist. And it is what it is, man. You know, you're a Peterson fan, that's fine. I mean, it's fine because, look, like I said, bro-motivational's pretty tight. Even from Peterson's bro-motivationals. Even Peterson's bro-motivational. Peterson's actually bro-motivating the top bro-motivator. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe Rogan is bro-motivator top dog number 1. Especially if you're a comic. If you're a bro and a comic, forget it. If you're a bro and you're into fighting, MMA, working out, if you're a bro and into conspiracies, if you're a bro, and fall. If you're a bro and in any of Joe Rogan's like subcategories that he does, like because he does fighting stuff, he does like comedians, he does like alt science kind of stuff, like conspiracy theory kind of stuff, and he does like wellness too. So listen, look, he's a top motivator. He's a top motivator in the culture, in the community. Okay, he is like this generation's big bro. Okay, and he's getting motivated by Jordan Peterson, basically, and Jordan Peterson is sexist. So I do understand, look, serfs, I get it. I do understand the beef. I get the beef. You know, I feel like one of my friends, you know what this feels like? It feels like one of my friends is talking shit about another one of my friends, and I gotta be like, look, man, can I just say something though? Can I just say something for my bro? Real quick? Can I just say this? One, Jordan Peterson, all of his sexist stuff, like, if you're dumb, you don't know. You know? It's too smart. He's a professor. He sneaks all his sexism, he's sneaking it in, big words. You don't even know, dude. Basically, Peterson's conversation, if you know anything about, if you've taken even one women's studies class, or if you know anything about feminism, like you have to know a little bit about feminism, and then when you hear Peterson, you can just hear that like Peterson can't do 4 sentences without doing like a low-key diss on feminism. I mean, that's just what he does. That's just his personality. Like, he can't help it, I think. I remember one time I was watching a Jordan Peterson thing on, like, Jordan Peterson's the kind of guy that in, like, I remember like 15, 20 years ago, I didn't watch it 15, 20 years ago, but I saw this TVO clip, and it was a TVO clip where Jordan Peterson, pre-YouTube, he just calls up TVO, The Agenda, Steve Bacon, calls him up, and he says, Steven, someone wrote an article in the New York Times, and I'd like to make a rebuttal against this feminist. And he would just do a clap back on some feminist. And he's been doing this forever. I don't know, like, he has a bunch of those. He just, that's the kind of guy he is. Like, a feminist will just make like an article saying like, hey, you know, I guess I'm not going to have kids, but I'm cool with that. Cool. Great. It's like an article like that. It was like an article of like, man, you know, I guess I'm just not going to get married. I'm going to find other shit to do. Great. That's kind of the gist of the article. And she disses men in it a little bit. Like, she's basically like, you know what? Because the first guy I was with just didn't love him. Maybe because he was a bit of a softie. And then the second guy I was with, you know what? He didn't like me. He was hard as fuck, but he didn't like me. And now I killed all my time. And I guess I'm not going to have kids. It's like this article in the New York Times, right? Fine. And it's it's fine. It's like, dude, some feminists just short an article. Okay, maybe she has a book now. I don't know. Right? But it's cool. I thought it was actually kind of positive. Like, in the end, she's just like, look, I'm going to find other shit to do. It's very responsible. I mean, meaning like, it was a good article because she was just like, look, I'm not going to cry about it. This is what I did. We don't need to have kids anymore, so I'm just going to find other shit to do with my life. It was actually pretty cool. Like, she's pretty badass, I thought, you know, when I read because I read the article too. But then I saw Jordan Peterson was like, well, I have to say a few words about this. And then he just does like a clap back on her. On how like, well, you better find a good man and settle down. Because he was like, he was basically like, I'm going to do a counterpoint. Because not enough of these women are having kids, and I want to say a few words back to her. So he does like this diss video. He has like 3 or 4 of them on TVO. But in one of them, man, I was actually very proud of myself. In one of them, you know what? I'm going to cut this part in, 44 minutes. Okay, so in one of them, he basically is making an argument, like a diss on this feminist, and it's like this intellectual essay, right? Like, he's a university professor, so he's referencing something by Simone de Beauvoir, who's like one of the first pioneering big feminist writers. I don't know, like she's huge philosopher. Simone de Beauvoir. I mean, I don't know, look her up. Huge. She's in the game. Simone de Beauvoir in the game. Literary, philosophy, and feminism, all 3, she's a top player in all 3 games. And that's it. You have to respect it. You just have to respect it. If you don't like her, I don't know, man. What's your I don't know what your problem is. You know, you got to ask yourself a few questions. Because as far as all three communities go, the philosophy community, the literature community, and the feminist community, all three communities regard her as a top player in the game. And so, look, if you don't think she is, I don't know, whatever. You got to back it up with something, though. So anyway, I'm watching this video with Jordan Peterson on TVO. He's doing a clap back at some feminist, and he brings up something by Simone de Beauvoir, and he goes, and this is how he says Simone de Beauvoir. You know what he said? He goes, Simone de Beauvoir, wife of Jean-Paul Sartre. He basically was saying, like, he basically punked her, dude. He low-key punked her. He low-key punked Simone de Beauvoir. Listen to this clip. I gotta find that clip. He low-key punked her, right? I mean, that's a low-key diss, and I was so proud of myself when I saw it because I was with a prominent feminist when I was watching the video, because it came up because they were mad about something. I don't know. They put it up. They put it on, but then he made that point, and I said, "Hold on." He just called Simone de Beauvoir, like, her title. He didn't say author Simone de Beauvoir. He said wife of Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir. Like, he said it like stanky like that too, right? And I was so proud of myself because nobody else noticed it. I mean, they were almost, but I noticed it. I called it. I called it first. Look, that's what happened. I can't rewrite history. That's what happened. I called it first, and then even the girls were like, "Yo, Amish, good call." They were like, "Amish, that's very good. Very good that you caught that." That's what they said to me. Seriously. I swear to God. This happened. I was with like 2 or 3 feminists. I work with them. I not have to. I love working with them. They're great. It's a lot of fun. Okay? I work with them. I get along with them. Listen, I'm a bro, but I get along with the feminists. It's a thing. Look, it's a thing. It's a thing. We're cool. I can do the shows. I do the shows. The feminist community is very, I have a good standing. I have a good standing with them. And I work with them, even as a writer. We have a good standing. And that's it. And so I was with a couple of my friends that I hang out with. And someone put up this Jordan Peterson video to make fun of it. And I was the one who noticed. I mean, look, hey. Even they were very impressed with me, though. Even they said, "Amish, that's good. You found it. You called it. Very good. Good." They kind of said it like a little condescending, like, "Good boy." They said it like that a little bit. They said it a little bit like, "Oh, good boy. Oh, the good boy found it. Oh, you found it." They said it like that a little bit. But you know what, man? Look, hey, look. The point is, Peter Pop's sexist, but in a way that you wouldn't, it's hard to notice. It's very passive-aggressive. Listen, he's very smart, very passive-aggressive. And it's hard to tell if you're a bit of a dum-dum. I mean, quite frankly, if you're a bro-motivational type, if you're a bro dude, if you're a bruh, he's the kind of guy that can say a bunch of shit, and as a bruh, you're like, "Whoa, bruh." Dude, the first time, if you're a bruh, first time you hear Peterson, you're like, "Whoa, bruh. This bro's a smart bro, dude. This bro's a smart bro, dude. How'd you know all the smart shit, bruh?" Like, look, first time you hear it, that's how you feel. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. But I have some rock and roll friends that were like, from day one, they were like, "Fuck this whole fuck." They were like that, you know? They were like that. But, you know, when you're brown, you just listen to an authority figure, too. You know, I think I've talked about this on another episode. When I went to school in India, dude, and this is how they taught me too. My parents, but the culture. This is how they taught me too. If a professor says something, we're just like, "Oh, sir, oh, you are a very good sir. Thank you." Like, we're like that. We're such nerds, dude. That's why even at the Peterson rally, it's a bunch of Indian kids. What the hell are their Indian kids doing in a philosophy professor fucks thing? How the hell do they even know him? They're there defending him. He goes and does his protest against trans people. Jordan Peterson. Who's at the protest defending Petey Pops? It's a bunch of Indian kids. What the hell are these Indian kids even doing in a psychology class? You know why? Because basically he probably has all these, those were the 5 engineering students, those brown kids, that had to take the elective psychology, but they were such a bunch of fucking nerds, and we're all taught to just listen to the professor since when we were kids, that they all just went to the protest to be like, hey, leave Jordan Peterson alone. Like, they're on his side. And on the other side, it's all these trans activists and feminists. No, the guy, look, it's too smart though. It's too smart. Hey, if you're a bro, you don't know. If you're a bro, you don't know. Okay? At first, you just, as a bro, and if someone's bro-motivating you, as a bro, not only do you not know, but you're getting bro-motivated, dude. And it's the same issue with Joe Rogan, though. But I just wanted to make this counterpoint. Serfs. I just want to make this counterpoint. One counterpoint I'd like to make on Joe Rogan 2, Alex Jones Parabellum. I think that's what it's called. One quick note I wanted to make about that. Okay, and the note that I want to make is that you guys made a point in your diss video. Because right now, and let me explain for people who are just listening to this who don't know what's going on with this whole thing. Okay? Joe Rogan basically is getting called out by these lefty YouTubers called the Serfs. Serfs, Vancouver guys, good Canadian boys. You know, one of them brown, gotta support it. I love it, I support it. Okay? Also, no, but the videos are tight. Not only because brown, because sometimes, you know, I like to do just to support, I do like to support a brown person though, sometimes. Sometimes I will do that. And maybe unfairly so. But we're a community, we're not, I find that we're pretty nice to each other, generally speaking. So, fine, fair. And I'm not mean to white people. It's not like that. But listen, if you were the only white, I don't know. I guess now it is getting to the point where like there's so many brown people that I kind of don't care, generally. But listen, if there's like 2 white people in a country where everyone's brown, you guys would talk to each other for a second. You would. You'd just be like, oh, how'd you get here? Like something like that, right? Anyway, Joe Rogan is getting in trouble for being too bro-y right-wingy. Joe Rogan's getting in trouble, getting called out right now by the Serfs for being too bro-y, too right-wingy. And a big thing that makes him right-wingy is that he's got this huge fan base and he's bringing on guests like Jordan Peterson. Like, dude, he got so bro-motivated by Jordan Peterson, it's almost like he's brainwashed. When he brought on Jordan Peterson like the 4th time, I was like, dude, you're brainwashed. Hey, Brogan, calm down. You're brainwashed. Bruh, I know you need your motivation, but I think you're getting brainwashed, dude. You know, because he's bringing on basically Joe Rogan's most, like the guest that he's had the most. You know, and being a guest on his show is a big deal. It's like 300 million. It's like the dream. If you're a comic, like it can change your career. He's like this generation's Johnny Carson. So, and he put Jordan Peterson on like 5-6 times. So now these serfs, and a lot of other people, but these serfs put out now 2 diss videos, dissing Joe Brogan, for like, why are you putting on all these right-wing people, and how come you're not balancing the viewpoint out? If you have an influence on all these young men voting for Trump, in this right-wing swing happening in the world, how come you can't put on a few more lefties? Huh? Joe Brogan? Huh? You know how they'd say it? They'd be like, how come there's not more left-wing influencers on your show, Joe Rogan? Or should I say, Brogan? That's how I feel like someone would do it like that. I feel like someone would do it like that. But listen, Joe Brogs, okay? Here's the thing. Here's my counter-argument. If I can make one point in the defense of Joe Brogs, okay? A man who I love and provides me with a lot of motivation. And sometimes I feel like I need that in this economy. Okay? Serfs? Anyway, I'm going to make this one counterpoint. And the counterpoint is this. Serfs? Joe Brogan, you know, maybe the reason he's putting all these right-wing guys on his show is not because he's going and seeking them out. Maybe it's because these right-wing maniacs, they got that hustle, baby. They work so hard. Did you guys ever think about that? Did you guys ever think about that? These right-wing maniacs work so hard. Here's what I mean, okay? Part of the point that you made is that you're saying that Jordan Peterson's been on Joe Rogan's show like 9 times, and then all these other right-wing thinkers you guys listed off there, right? It's, what are we at, 55, 23, right? You list off all these like right-wing people that he has on the show, and there's not enough lefties. But let me ask you this, serfs. Is Abby Martin, like when Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson, when all these right-wing guys do Joe Rogan's show, their numbers go up. They all have online businesses ready to go. Their numbers go up. And they're basically, I bet when Steven Crowder did his second episode with Joe Rogan, he pitched an episode. Like he sat down and created a publicity stunt and then said, "Hey, Joe, what's up, bruh? Crowder here. Crow bro. Anyway, dude, we went to a gun rally and a bunch of feminists attacked me. Can we," like it's something like that. I gotta go and look at what their stupid, okay. Anyway, look, that's the point that I think I needed to, that's the point that I want to make. That's the point that I want to make. I don't think Abby Martin is calling Joe Rogan every week to be like, "Hey, can I do the show again? Can I do the show again?" Abby Martin, I mean, she should be. And I feel like if she did, Joe Bruggs would probably put her on. But I just don't see... Look, the lefty game is starting to come up hard in the game. Fair enough, okay? The lefties are starting to come up. But I just think these right-wing maniacs, they're psychos. They work way harder. Like, honestly, you know how hard it is to work that hard? They got the Lord in them. Not literally. Literally, I think the lefties have the Lord in us. You know what I'm saying? Morality-wise. I think we have the better morality. Okay? No questions asked. Like, we want to progress into a better future where we accept everyone and, you know what I mean? Like, it's very beautiful what we believe in as lefties. And I do believe in it. You know? I mean, a lot of these lefties are coming in hard up with the communism now too, though. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. And I think the serfs are like maybe a little commie. Is that true, guys? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I feel like the serfs and your whole thing, I think you're communist a little bit, right? Because I know there's some hard lefties, millennials coming into the game right now, and they're saying, you know what? I might be a communist. I don't care. Why not? This capitalism is very oppressive to people. Don't appreciate it. Maybe I'm a lefty. Maybe I'm a communist. They're going hard communist. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, guys, that's the new movement. This is the latest people that are like this, that are like hard lefty and like working hard like right-wing people. Like, I'm just saying, dude, all those people, like even Sam Harris, they all probably call Joe Rogan every week and they're like, "Yo, we love you. Here's a gift for your family. Tell your wife, my wife wants to do this." I think they're looking at Joe, and not to say that people are using him or like they don't really love him. Like he's cool as fuck too. Even you guys said that in your first video, that he's very cool and everyone loves Joe Bruggs, dude. Everyone loves Joe Rogan, dude. He's a bro. I don't think he knows half of the politics because half the time it's like Jordan Peterson type, too smart. Listen, I know, to a hard lefty like a lot of you guys, real obvious that he's sexist. It took me time to figure out the sexism on Jordan Peterson I'm talking about. Complicated. He hides it in shit. It's passive aggressive. Like, it took time. Even though I spotted it right away on the TVO video that I was talking about. I did spot it right away on that video. But I'm just saying, you know, a lot of the stuff, you just hear it and you're like, "Oh, that's good advice." And then you realize like, "Oh, okay, he's actually like secret dissing." I mean, he is. Like, let's just be honest. Peterson has the vibe of a guy who, and that's the interesting thing about Peterson, is that he's acting like a bro-motivational speaker. He's bro-motivating the highest bro. But I feel like Peterson was never even a bro. You know what I'm saying? He seems kind of like a nerd who is pretending to be a jock the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he was in the game, Peterson. Like, I think he was he looks like he was always kind of depressed and shit. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. Look, hashtag mental health, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But Peterson does have the vibe of like an evil cult leader. Like, he's starting this men's cult, and it comes from this dark place. I don't think he was ever a bro. Like, he's trying to teach other guys to be. I don't think he was getting laid. I don't think he was partying, really. I think he's the kind of guy that, you know, when you're even at 20, you're like, hey, Jordan, you want to go to the party? And he'd be like, but what is the meaning of life? And like, you know what I mean? He doesn't look like a dude, like a bro dude. Even though now it seems like he's pretending like he's been a bro the whole time, which I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate like nerds pretending they were bros. If you're a nerd, just be a nerd, baby. Be you. There's value in that, in whatever you are. But don't go too bro like this. It's weird. He does seem like, he does have the vibe, Peterson. He has the vibe of a guy who was in the friend zone too long. You ever meet someone like that? It's like I was saying, it's like the guy I was talking about before. This dude who was like in the friend zone he was in the friend zone for like 2 years. Then the girl marries another dude. Oh, now he's a men's rights activist. Done. That's Peterson has that vibe. Okay, that's a stretch. Fine, fair. Stretch on my part, but definitely has that kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I say to people? It's like this. Look, listen, look, hey, look. Before the baby boomers, people used to go through like a war zone, you know? They went to Vietnam. They have PTSD. But after the baby boomers, you know what people go through? They go through a friend zone. And the PTSD on that friend zone, sometimes it's you know, maybe worse than Nam. The PTSD that some of these dudes have on their friend zones, it's making them like hateful and shit, right? It's making them like very angry. And it's sad, man. I mean, I felt it too a little bit. A little bit. You know, look, hey, people, this is what I'm saying. People get lonely and they start going crazy. And I feel like Joe Rogan for sure. I think Joe Rogan is helping dudes rehabilitate from like, and I know this is an argument that people make where it's like, no. Like even Jordan Peterson said this. He's like, no. People, like these dudes are going to go full Nazi, crazy Nazi, incel Nazis. And Peterson's like, no, I'm getting them to fix up their life. And then from Peterson, I think they can go over to Joe Rogan and become even more dude, more of a bruh that wouldn't hurt anyone. Okay? Wouldn't hurt anyone. Are they going to support a patriarchal status quo? Yeah, dude, bruh, sure. I don't know what that means, dude. Explain it to me, maybe, and then, okay, I'll stop. I don't know. Most bros are like that. Most bros are like, it's cool, dude. Feminism, cool, rock it, I love it. But they're supporting like a patriarchal status quo. This is the issue. This is the issue. See, that's too smart. They don't even know. That's too much. Come on, our standards are too high here. For bros, for like a bro-motivational like Joe Rogan, the standards are too high, man. Like, you're getting mad at him for putting out too many right-wing people. I mean, here, at the end of the day, I think even Rogan, he would watch a video like this Serfs video and be like, you know what? Yeah, I should put on more lefties. What am I doing? He probably would put on more lefties. And that's the thing. I feel like lefties won't push the way these right-wing maniacs will. You know what I mean? It's like these right-wing maniacs, they went in and they got all the good Joe Rogan friend spots. And now how many friends can Joe Rogan have? I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year. He's probably spending one weekend a year with Jordan Peterson, right? Just with the family, get together, they do a thing. Like, they probably do one weekend a year just together. Then he's probably got, like, Sam Harris probably got him on a retreat. That's 2 weekends. Then he's got to just hang out with his family. Right? But that's how these things work, man. It's not like, I don't think Joe Rogan is even like right wing. Like, I think he's not. He's pretty cool with shit. He's pretty mostly like, just kind of like, hey bro loves when all the bros are bros. Like, that's the political ideology. The only problem with the bro who's like, bro, all bros are bros and just did whatever, bro. Like that ideology, which is generally center, it's basically like, yeah, it is like a status quo ideology. That's too smart though. Because basically, okay, so basically, and I'm going to end it with this because this is like getting deep, okay? But I do know what I'm talking about. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a member of the Writers Guild. Okay? So anyway, wow, that was annoying. Anyway, status quo. Yeah, this is a big thing. There's an old quote by this lady who basically says that if you support the status quo, like if you support the way things are, you're implicitly supporting the people who are currently in charge. And you're implicitly part of a system that oppresses the current people who are being oppressed. It's a little too smart though. Like you gotta explain that to people, man. It took me like 1 or 2 documentaries to really understand that. I get it now. I get it. It's kind of like the people who, it's kind of like motivational speakers. Like motivational speakers, their political views are like whatever gets me through the day. So basically, if the whole culture was homophobic, motivational speakers, they'd be homophobic because they'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I need to do to get a sale and to keep moving with my business. That's all I'm trying to do. Like that's how they would think about a situation. So if the entire culture is progressive, they'd be like, you know what, man? I don't want to get into any negativity. We want more customers. Man, if you're gay, straight, I don't care. Come on in. We want to help you too. Like that's the progressive thing to do. But if you took that person and just put them 50 years ago, that person would be like, listen, hey man, I don't want to do anything negative, like let gays in here, anything like that. I don't want to be negative. So you know what? Look, we're just trying to keep it legal. You know, I mean, that's illegal, isn't it? So we wouldn't do anything like that. We're just trying to run a business. We're trying to, get to the next level with our business. That's all. We don't want any trouble. Like, it would be like, they would basically be supporting. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I making sense? Am I rambling? Because it does make sense to me, but maybe I'm rambling. Like it seems like the kind of the argument's too complicated for a bro to get. Bros don't get that shit. But maybe that's the whole point of these Serfs videos, is just to be like, hey bros. But the attitude from all these left-wing videos are like, hey bros, you guys are sucking. It's like me. It's like, kind of like, I mean, they're dissing. They're coming with the heat. They're coming with the heat. You know what I'm saying? They're doing what they got to do. They're coming with the heat, and that's what we all got to do as a culture, as a community. We got to talk. We got to hang out. We got to do all the stuff. And I'm just trying to bring the culture together, bring the community together. Okay, that's why I bring this up. Because when Steven Crowder got demonetized, I was like, yeah, fuck that guy, man. Garbage. Jordan Peterson, it's like, yeah. I mean, look, I know half of you guys are Jordan Peterson fans. I can hear all the Jay Peter heads going crazy right now. But honestly, look, he's sexist. Okay? Probably going to get into Islamophobia now. I saw, the anti-climate change shit too. Fuck off, dude. Peterson, I get him, man. He can get canceled. I don't care. But Joe Rogan, or should I say Brogan, that's a bro, dude. And you can't cancel him. There's just no way. Like, it's not offensive. Like, he's not going to get canceled. And I don't think the Serfs are calling for that, but I think I just think, look, I think our standards are a little high on him. And I think we're underestimating how hard these right-wing maniacs work. Because the biggest criticism of the Joe Rogan thing was that he keeps putting on right-wing people. And it's like, yeah, right-wing people are probably on his ass. They're psychos. Lefties are cool. Abby Martin's not calling Joe Rogan every week. Whitney Cummings probably not messaging Joe Rogan every week and be like, hey, let me on. Like, they're cool. They're chill. They want to do their own thing. They don't want to be preachy. They want to just, have this fun relationship with him. Whereas all these right-wing guys are like, you know, Joe, it's so important what you're doing. You got to let me back on so I can talk about this. You got to let me back on because you know what happened? Oh, this happened. Oh, you know what? I had a dream about you, Joe Rogan. I had a dream about you and all the things we shared together, and I just wanted to come back and say a few more words, Joe. Dude, come on. That old fuck professor, Peterson, he knows how to manipulate, dude. He knows how to manipulate. And I think and I'm just saying, look, just a few points to bring into the culture, bring into the community. Because like I said, here at the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation, we want to bring the culture together, we want to bring the community together. Officially, definitely a lefty. And I'm not one of these lefties who's going to say that the right-wing people and the left-wing people are equal. Not equal, okay? The right-wing people, they have, first of all the power, and they do all the actual murdering, okay? Lefties, okay, kind of annoying that you guys get people fired too. Look, they're doing theirs, you're doing yours. They're bombing the Middle East, you got a guy fired. They're, making sure everyone has a gun, or whatever the fucking gun shit or anti-abortion bullshit. That's fucked, what the right wing's doing. And then the left, yeah, okay, like just let the guy come and talk at the university. I don't know, fuck, right? That's what the left is doing. That's like too out of control. It's like you didn't let a guy talk at a university. Okay, fine, fuck. Let him talk, I guess. I mean, or don't. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to say both sides are equal. The right wing is way worse. Are you kidding me? They're so much worse. They are so much worse. And like, we're talking about on the left, there's not even really any power on the left right now to do anything. The left has no power. I mean, they're apparently in charge of television, but television seems like it's dead. The biggest audience is with people like Joe Rogan, right? People like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson even, huge audiences online. Those guys, like they have the bigger audiences. They're not left-wing mainstream media. So what does the left have as far as power? Nothing. They just get people fired. And they also do try to get people like, that Aziz Ansari article, that was kind of bullshit, right? Even a lot of women came out against that. Everyone came out against that when the girls basically like went on a bad date with Aziz Ansari, and then she was like, okay, he should be, I don't know, they basically try to cancel Aziz Ansari because some girl, like, I don't know, he just had a bad date. Even I saw on CNBC, like this woman on CNBC just did an hour-long thing being like, okay, we need to just take it easy. Aziz Ansari is one step too far. That's official left-wing MSNBC saying that. So, look, I'm not the first one saying it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, no, I'm not saying there's an equivalency. No, obviously, right-wing, evil. Come on, guys, right-wing, are you kidding me? They got the presidency. They got they basically just don't have the House of Commons in America. I mean, look, we're living in the American Empire. The right wing has president, Senate, Supreme Court for like 40 years. Supreme Court until someone dies. Plus the cops, the military, the gun people, the guns. That's all right wing. Prison system, right wing shit. Okay? I mean, the left is in on it, but only because they're weak and they couldn't stand up to all the corporate influence that the right wing invented. You know what I'm saying? Like the right-wing people are the ones who have tied America into nonstop war that's going to bankrupt them. And this military, this prison system, and this war on drugs, that's all right-wing shit, right? I mean, like I said, look, the lefties are in on it. The Democrats are in on all that. But that's not by design. That's because they're weak people and they couldn't stand up to the corporate influence. The corporate influence that the right-wing people set up. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that the left and the right is equal. The right is way worse. Yeah, that's the problem with all these new lefty videos. Listen, the lefty videos, like the Serfs, you watch it and you're like, you know what, dude? Yeah, okay, you got a point. Every time I see one of these videos, they're always like, the problem with Joe, PewDiePie is a slippery slope to Nazi. And I'm like, can we not? Really? PewDiePie is making people a Nazi? And then you watch the full video and actually no, I thought that one was unreasonable. Come on, PewDiePie, I just don't see that connection. Come on, man. He did some bad jokes. Okay, fine. Really though? This guy made a video called the Pewdie Pipeline into Nazis and how he's converting other people into Nazis. Man, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. Okay? I mean, you know, I don't know. And then you watch the videos and they always have some good points, though. Like, they do have good points. I'm not saying. These lefties, they do their research. They all have good points. But yeah, some of that's too far. But that's not, but again, like, you can't even compare the damage being done to the culture from right-wing people. It's insane. Like, when I think of what could destroy America, it's all of that right-wing shit. And then these lefties, yeah, they're like pretty extreme sometimes. And I'm like, I don't get it. But then, I don't know, you watch the video and you're like, okay, you did your research, made some good points, still don't fully agree. But sure, yeah, no, I mean, okay, fine. Good points. Brought up some good points. That's it. That's all I can do. That's all I can do for you, lefty. That's all I can do for you, lefty. Anyway, listen, guys, I'm so glad that this is like an hour and 15 in because it's late. I gotta go to sleep. But I just want to make sure that this episode went up today because you know what? The last 2 weeks, unacceptable. I've been doing this fringe play. It turned out to be way more work than what I thought. Kicking my ass. And the last 2 weeks did not get the podcast up on time. And I don't even know if it was a time that I told you guys I would upload the podcast or if it was just me in my head. I was like, I got to get a podcast up every Monday. But regardless, whether it was I told you or I didn't tell you, the audio needs to go up every Monday. I mean, come on, guys. I can do that. I can do that. So I'm gonna just call it right there. I'm gonna upload this. Might have got a little rambly at the end there, but look, the important points that we covered today. Let's do a little recap, okay? Fred Vanvleet, let's get him out of the Osmosis commercial, the shawarma commercial. Let's get him into an Amazon. Let's get him a Toyota. Let's get him a real car commercial, for goodness sakes, okay? As someone who works in the acting industry, I can tell you, as someone who books commercials, because I'm also in the Actors Union, as someone who books these commercials every now and then, I'm telling you, the Osmos Shawarma commercial, not a lot of money in that, okay? Not a lot of money in that. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing I want to say, I'm a member of the Writers Guild. Third thing, Greg, we have a patron, Greg. Fourth thing, 2 shows coming up. July 18, August, I think 23rd, late in August 2019, Asterios is coming. Make sure you stay tuned for that. There'll be a link to both of those in the comment section. And then, of course, we talked about Bro-motivationals, you know. And the reason why I had to watch all these Bro-motivational speakers is because I was doing this play in Montreal and Ottawa called the Win at Life Mega Expo. It was an incredible run. 2 Fringe festivals, just got back home. Whew! And that's the reason why the last 2 weeks episodes have gone up late. We're going to get on top of that. Okay, my darlings? We're going to get on top of that. This is Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. And the laugh train needs to run on time. And that's it. And you guys deserve better. And you're going to get better. And at the end of the day, next week, it's not going to be rambly. It's going to be on time. We're going to fix it. Look, I know I sound like a dad who doesn't take care of his kids. I know I sound like a dad who doesn't take care of his kids. But I assure you that I love my kids and we can turn this around, guys. We're going to turn it around. Okay? This is Amish Patel, CEO of the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. I love you and God is great. God is great. Okay, let's go to sleep.